Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, September 19th. I apologize. I know I did put a post with an Vader coming out of a DeLorean saying the show was at 10 a.m. However, I have had every technical challenge I could possibly have, from a camera not working to understanding how to get TikTok going. So I apologize, but we're live now. I think I've got, so TikTok should be working. I have Instagram working. We should be on YouTube. And here I am for my first time taking this out. I'm hoping to run an entire show all like a big boy. And I believe Sean Shapiro may come in to watch. But yeah. Oh, okay. I unfortunately don't have a moderator, so I'm going to try to do my best to ensure that I can speak to as many people as I can. Let me get into this role here. Oh, yeah, there we go. I am live. Excellent. So good morning, everyone. It's Thursday. As you can tell, the format has changed. My name and my titling has changed. I got to get those little pictures that Sean had before to say we're on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all these amazing social media places. Yeah, this is I'm gonna struggle through this, but yes, we will get this done. But thanks to everyone who's coming on. I appreciate it. Let me see how I can go into the comments here, the chat. Good morning, Chase. Is it still choppy? I'm not sure how I can improve that. I am so not the techie guy, but are we having mic issues? I can see several people have said I've had mic issues. Am I still having mic issues? Give me a heads up. Oh, Matthew, yes, I was previously a school cop. So I was a school resource officer a few years ago. It's great to see you still remember that. I really enjoyed those times. Good morning, Akela Draconis. I look forward to your Star Wars jokes. I'm going to be honest with you. The book you brought in the other day, I may have gotten it the other day from my own family, and I had a pretty good laugh about it, remembering that the first time I had ever seen that book was with you. So I look forward to seeing a Star Wars joke or two. Please put them in. Good morning, Tian. I promise I'm saying that properly. I really, truly do hope. Chase, have I gotten any better at this? Yes, loud. It sounds very rough, unfortunately. That could just be my voice. I'll be honest with you. I'm not not quite sure how this is all going to work. Let me see if that improves it. I'm going to be honest. No Sean, no technical support. So level on mic may be high. Thank you, Toronto. Thank you, Toronto Road Cams. I appreciate that. Maybe it is high. I can't tell that from here, but I will do my best. I sound fine on my ears, but yeah. Good morning, Stephen. Thank you so much for. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Chase, I'm still cutting in and out. I apologize. You're my school cop, Matthew at Romero. That's good to know. I just actually had a conversation about Romero this morning. For those of you who don't know, for over 12 years, I've been running a deck program, which essentially I teach not the foundation. So I'm not here to teach your child how to cycle. It's typically for grade 4s and 5s. And I teach them foundational stuff. So arm signals, coming to a full and complete stop at stop signs, getting on and off ramps to simulate them getting off of a curb. They all have to come with a helmet and bike and blah, blah. And Romero students, so St. Oscar Romero and Chaminade, are both schools that I've pulled from before in the past to get volunteers to help facilitate the program. Because depending to the school, I could have 20 kids. Other schools, I will have 80 plus kids. So I need as much support, and the ideas behind many of my programs has always been to make them community oriented. So it's not just policing. I bring in high school students. It's an opportunity for those schools to showcase some of their own students and the ability to be feeder schools. And it's also the opportunity to get them volunteer hours that they all are required to graduate in the province of Ontario. So yeah, that's where that comes from. So I appreciate that, Matthew. It's great to see. And yeah, I was just speaking to one of the elementary schools and giving them a heads up that I will most likely be reaching out to Romero, which I haven't yet, but it will be coming. I'll highlight that one. Oh, thanks, Clyde. Good to see me taking over. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to be honest with you. The show won't happen tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm also I do many things. I did not know I would end up doing this show, to be honest with you. So I do a whole lot of a bunch of things within the service and community programs. And one of the parts of the things I do is I am the co-champion with the Toronto Police Service. So my other champion is an inspector by the name of Dave Eklund. He's a fantastic fella. Together, we encourage our fellow membership to get out and donate. And I would encourage you to do the same. If you are eligible to donate blood, please do it. Every donation has the potential of saving 3 lives. I think it's going to become kind of like my Bob Barker moment, where at the end of every show, you know how he used to say, get your animals spayed and neutered. I'm going to say, if you can donate, please do. But tomorrow, the Toronto Police Service is going to be hosting its single largest donation clinic. It is a closed clinic for Toronto Police members and our team members. So we have what's called a Partners for Life team. And in that, so we're hoping to have upwards of 100 donations tomorrow if all works out. So thank you. Good morning, Julie. Good morning, Clyde. I'm going to try to do these as fast as I can. I'm going to realize I am going to fall behind, especially being newer to this. I don't have the skill set that Sean did, and I greatly miss him. But I'm sure he probably has forgotten about me. No, he hasn't, because I literally just talked to him as I was coming in to be like, I don't know why the camera's not working, and I don't know why this isn't working. So yeah. That's good. Sounds good. Thank you, Clyde. Sounds clear now. I appreciate that, Akela. As you can tell, I'm a few minutes behind from where you guys are. Good morning. Good morning, Boy Mom. I love that name. Good morning, Boy Mom. Oh, Matthew. This is I appreciate this. You were a good school cop. I would hope so. I really enjoyed my time. For those of you who don't know, I was a school resource officer between 3 schools. I did Archbishop Romero, Chaminade College, and Weston Collegiate for a number of years, and then eventually I moved into what was called a community school liaison officer. Trying to give you guys a little bit of my history. I've always been a community officer. I'll be honest with you. I've been in traffic services for all of 2 months. My experience in traffic was I was a traffic complaints officer at a division level. I used to work at 12 Division, which is Black Creek and Chitruli. I worked there for 15 years before I went to headquarters, where I took on the role of the uniform liaison for equity, inclusion, and human rights. And then I transferred here to run programs. And now, I guess this is probably part of the program, is to run this program. And I will endeavor to get better as this goes on. It's going to be pretty rough. I hope you like. If you saw my artwork, I took a lot of time with AI to create that artwork. If you haven't seen the artwork, it is Darth Vader coming out of a DeLorean. I got to work on the text. I got to get Sean's fancy background, like that marker paintbrush thing that he puts on there. So right now it looks like I'm elementary school level text with my Adobe there, but I'm going to get better. But I thought the image was awesome. And if you don't know who I am, outside of obviously being PC Peter De Quintal, I am the Star Wars cop. I have been a Star Wars cop for as long as I've been on social media. So on Twitter and TikTok, I am Star Wars cop. I don't post on TikTok. I did the other day, actually. Got a new pair of Star Wars shoes, so I thought I'd show those off. They're really cool. And then on Instagram, Threads, and I am the Star Wars cop. The reason being is somebody stole my name. And that person never actually posts, but Instagram really doesn't care, because all they're worried about is how many folks they can get to create accounts, because it looks really good at the numbers thing. But that person who is Star Wars cop on Instagram is not me. If you don't see my picture, I'm going to tell you it's not me. And yeah, the person posted like 6 things. So outside of that, I used to run Star Wars programs for kids. I ran a Star Wars breakfast program. Some of these things you can find on YouTube. CTV News did a story on them back in the day and stuff. And everything from like The Sun to, if you remember, Metro newspaper, we used to give out free newspapers in the city of Toronto. They did an article on it. It was pretty cool. And what a Star Wars breakfast looked like was I had a whole bunch of Star Wars toasters, from like Darth Vader to a Stormtrooper and the Death Star, and they all popped out different Star Wars and blazed toast. And so that's where that comes from. But yeah, let me try that. How do you become a first-class constable? I'm going to get to Kinty. And if you were wondering, and am I falling behind? 100%. Sean would have told you he was 15 minutes behind. I'm probably going to be even further behind. But how do you become a first-class constable? First of all, you have to become a fourth-class constable. So you got to get hired on. You'll be hired on by any police service in general. You'll be a cadet in training. Some police services will automatically swear you in as a fourth-class constable. It is what it is. Those folks who usually get sworn immediately in as a fourth-class constable, doesn't look so great when maybe they don't pass and this and that, and so then they're dispensed with as a fourth class constable. With the Toronto Police Service, you come in as a cadet in training. Currently, we have a pre and post class at the Toronto Police College, which I was at yesterday, promoting our blood drive, and hoping as many of them will show up between class and all that. But yeah, right now we have pre and post, and so you would apply through the Toronto Police Service. You can look at tps.ca careers. Sean was always good about putting that up, and maybe I'll put it up at the end if I can figure out how that works. But yeah, you get hired in a fourth class constable, and within 3 years, typically, you become a first class constable. And then when you're a first class constable, the world kind of opens up to you. You have the ability to apply to any position that's available. Typically, some roles may ask that you have like a minimum of 2 years investigator role or whatever, depending to what particular skill set they're looking for. Morning to you, sir. Morning to Sir Sean as well. Wow. Walk safely, drive carefully. Yes. Sean may actually be watching this. Sean, I believe, is currently still in Florida. He is at the SMILE conference, which is the social media in law enforcement. And I believe he may be a guest speaker there. If not, he should be. But yeah. Oh, Lewis, my brother is your religion teacher in high school. Yes. So outside of my this is going to get a lot into my background, but outside of me, many of my cousins to one of my brothers are all teachers. I have every aunt and uncle has at least one child who became a teacher. Yes, my brother is actually a high school teacher at my old high school, not the high school he went to, but he is a high school teacher. And in general, the students seem to love him. I'm not, he's my brother, so I see him in a different light. But yeah. Sean is in the show as a force ghost. I appreciate this comment, Michaela. Yeah. Stephen, is it $360 fine for cell phone use while driving? I believe it actually is either $650 or $680. It's much larger. It has a potential of a 3-day suspension and I believe 6 points. So yeah, it's $360. I don't even know if it was that at the beginning. It might have been at the beginning. I think it was like $180, but since folks don't seem to obey the rules, they just increase the fines in the hopes of stopping it. I'll be honest with you, what always blows my mind still is the amount of vehicles that are out on the road now that have Bluetooth technology, and yet I still see people with like a cell phone to their ear, and they're driving around, and I'm like, yeah, you're just begging for it. Here's the issue. I see these on my own personal time. I have my family. I'm not about to stop someone and initiate a conversation, nor would I in my own car, because wouldn't be the easiest to initiate a stop. However, if I recognize you and if I can identify you and identify the car, the ticket potentially come later. It wouldn't be my first time where I've seen someone driving a particular fashion that was, I thought, dangerous, and I've followed up with them afterwards. As long as I can identify you and put you in that vehicle, and I can marry those two together, there can still be a ticket issued, and I don't have to issue it immediately at that time. So I thought you were Dana White for a second. Can I spin the letters? I don't even know. She touches them now. I don't know if you watched it recently, BBL Savage, but yeah, she touches them. They're not even being rotated. But she's also doing a commercial for Wheel of Fortune, which is cool. I can't believe she's still on the show. I used to have the biggest crush on her as a kid. So, yeah. Oh, there it is. Voiceover Cop is watching. I appreciate it. He's like, I love you, man. I love you too. I love you too. I miss the bromance. I miss the ability to have someone in here. I thought John Carlo was going to pop in at some point. If you don't know who John Carlo is, he's going to be helping me more with traffic related questions in case there's details that I don't necessarily understand or know. He has been a traffic services fellow for quite some time. He is currently here as our planner, so he gets involved in a whole bunch of things. I guess he's busy, but I was hoping he'd come out so that I had that well of knowledge to pull from. But thank you so much, Sean. I love you too, man. It's great to see you're watching. I hope you feel like your legacy isn't being destroyed by me. Slowly but surely, but no, I'm kidding. So your e-bike was stolen, Parvin. Parvin, I hope you reported it. You can call, if it happened in the city of Toronto, call 416-808-2222. It's the non-emerge line. From there, you can report it. I believe you may also be able to report it online, but you might have to check that because I haven't actually reported any e-bike stolen online. So, yeah. Mikhail, I appreciate this. I'll be honest with you. I haven't even noticed them because there's just too much going on. So they can Fill their boots if they wish. What's the fine for a taillight burnt out? It's $110. It would be $110. It doesn't carry any points. In general, depending to where you are, Lewis, if you get the ticket for the taillight, depending to what the court is, you maybe this isn't like legal advice by any means, but usually if you get it fixed, the courts are pretty receptive to reducing the fine or potentially waiving it, as long as you can show that you got it fixed and it's working. It's like many things. I used to be big into validation stickers, which no longer exist. However, if I gave you the ticket for a validation sticker in general, I was always at 2700 Eglinton. If you went to 2700 Eglinton and you could show that your validation sticker you've updated and stuff, usually the ticket will be withdrawn. However, I was in court yesterday. I had 9 a.m. court for a ticket I wrote in November of 2020 for a stop sign. I'll be honest with you, points the last 2 years, tickets typically stay on your record for 3, just so we're clear on that. So they'll be fighting me almost 4 years later on a ticket I issued 2 months shy of 4 years. And the conviction is the date of conviction in court. So now you have what looks like essentially a fresh ticket on your court, on your record. I'm not quite sure what was the goal of that, but to each their own. The fact that you pay a paralegal and all that, it is what it is. Not the same without Sean. I will agree. I'm not going to disagree. It's going to be different. I'm going to tell you this show is probably going to take a different format. Eventually, I hope to have folks on, guests, talk about different things so that they can answer your questions when it comes to demerit points. Having someone potentially in from like sick kids or whatever to talk about road safety with regards to health and why helmets matter and all that kind of stuff. I'm a huge helmet advocate. If you don't know the law, under the age of 18 in the province of Ontario, you must wear a helmet when riding a bicycle. And I'm a huge advocate for that. I have a partnership with the Ontario Tri-Lawyers Association, where typically one time a year we give out a whole bunch of free helmets into the community to have an impact on ensuring our kids are out there riding safely and they have that means of protecting their most important body part, their head. Like this year on May 1st, we donated 345 helmets out to a school in Jane and Finch. And over the 6 years of the partnership, we did have a couple of years down because of the pandemic. We have donated 3,345 helmets. So we're trying to make our impact. And I just got another organization that's trying to give out helmets, but I have yet to follow up with them. I just got it yesterday. So no problem, Kenty. I assume that's Kenty. I assume that's somebody either in the chat or something I've answered. So happy to help. Last week, I saw a driver texting with both hands and passenger control on the wheel. Amazing. I would love Sean to be here because that could be careless driving. That could be dangerous driving. I would have said the passenger should be the one who actually does the texting back. But who knows what who knows what was going on? So yeah, that would be a huge fine and a really bad day for that person. Does working in parking enforcement help in PR? I'm not quite sure what PR is, Carl. If you can get, if you're talking maybe primary response, does parking enforcement help with primary response? Primary response would be folks responding to 911. Not typically, unless we are looking to get a car towed for a situation and stuff. But I'm not quite sure. You might have to further explain that one out. Who says I don't know who Dana White is? I know who Dana White is. Who doesn't know who Dana White is? I'm thankfully not. Well, I would love Dana White's money, but I don't want to be Dana White. But I do know who Dana White is. Do you think speed should be decreased in high incident areas on major highways? So we're increasing the speed. Many of the roads are under projects of like 110. But yeah, I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to see. I think there's a whole bunch of variables and stuff as to what the collisions are, why the collisions are occurring. But yeah. Thank you, Jonathan, for this. I appreciate it. He's doing just fine. Shapiro's retired. I appreciate that. Sean is retiring, enjoying retirement, and watching me sit in the hot seat for a little bit as he's out. Sean. So I see also Chris has asked, did he quit? No, he's retired. Yeah, he's retired. So he has decided to leave the Toronto Police Service and is no longer a police constable. He's just Sean, which would have been just who he was to begin with. I'm just Peter. So yeah, Sean is enjoying retirement. He has his own ideas of what greatness will bring into the world, and so yeah, and so it is what it is. Oh, permanent residency. Would parking enforcement happen with your permanent residency? I'll be honest with you, I have no idea. I'm not sure if parking enforcement would help with that. I'm not sure how the two would correlate, like how they would go along. So yeah, what time's it? Oh, geez. Sandra, for your question about some people are driving less than 80 kilometers entering the highway, just so we're aware that when you're driving onto an on ramp, the speed of that on ramp is the same speed as what the highway is. However, I know there are signs that say cautionary. It is the gravitational pull that is coming on your car, and to make sure that you are safe when coming on and off. So if it says 60, I'm going to suggest to you to come off 60, not do 100 because you may lose control. However, yes, you are supposed to do it. And I understand, folks, there are lots of interesting drivers on the road. So yeah, Jonathan, do I know all those steps of applying? So I've been a police officer for over 18 years. My steps to go through are, without a doubt, different than what it is now. You can do yourself a favor and check out the tps.ca website, and from there you can check up what would be the next steps. You can also follow up with a recruiter. Just understand that um, come with like come with great questions, like proper questions to ask. Not something that you probably should have already known or something that you could have easily Googled, because folks remember you, and you don't want that. So come there, seem prepared, come prepared, ask great questions. We have a recruiting team. We have what's called talent acquisition, who's an entire unit dedicated to hiring more officers, more civilians for the service. We are in a hiring phase right now. We are actively hiring both civilian and uniform roles. So if you call our talent acquisition number, and you can find all that information through tps.ca and look at the career section, all that information is there. This what officer is texting or on the phone. So if they're in the and Reaper, I'm going to just tell you. So if I am in the act of doing my duties, I can use my cell phone. I would tell you yes. When you get into a police car, there are a lot of distractions. I have a computer going, I have a radio going, I have to turn my lights on. It's a little bit different. We also go through quite a bit of training. So ideally, yeah, I can appreciate where you're coming from with like officers texting and being on the phone. But if we are communicating with a supervisor about a radio call or we're going somewhere, um, when we're actually doing our duties, we become exempt from that role, from that offense. So I appreciate this. Vanna White is Wheel of Fortune. Dana White is UFC. Correct, Akela. I guess this is a conversation that I'm not part of on the chat, and so I don't see all this because I can see there's quite a bit coming up, but I can't keep up with it all. So yes, Sean's on. He says, "Yeah, I'm in Florida at the Smile Conference teaching cops about social media." There you go, folks. Sean Shapiro, voiceover cop, is in Florida teaching others in North America how to be great individuals on social media. Maybe I should have spent some more time with Sean, or at least this show. Sean says you don't need your PR to be a parking enforcement officer. In case you didn't see that. If Ray Finkel plays kicker for the Miami Dolphins, do laces out. Ray Finkel, I appreciate this because we talked about this the other day, and you know what? I actually showed this movie to my family. So if you don't know, this is Ace Ventura, the first one, not the second. And Ray Finkel is the kicker who this is a key field goal, and they lose the Super Bowl because of Ray Finkel, and he blames it on Dan Marino and laces out. It's a great movie. I didn't realize that it didn't age as well when I was showing it to my kids and some of the adult humor in it. And I was like, you know, I never noticed that as a kid, but now I'm watching with my kids, and me and my wife are looking at each other like, okay. So yeah, there's that one of the first scenes where he returns that dog to that woman, and I didn't know how she was appreciating him, and now I do. So yeah. What do I think about auxiliary cops, and can you tell me about it, please? Auxiliary cops provide a lot. So if you don't know what an auxiliary is, they're volunteers. So they're anyone can volunteer to be an auxiliary cop. They have to go through a background, and share a whole bunch of things prior to being taken on. Sean was a previous auxiliary cop, And auxiliaries are volunteer PCs. So typically you'll see them, they have like a hat that's checkered, their pants will be checkered, meaning it's like red, black, like a checkerboard. That's to distinguish them from us. They also wear a baby blue shirt and clearly says on whatever outerwear they're wearing, auxiliary below the Toronto Police crest. And they are volunteers. They help out at many of the larger events. They help out some of the smaller events. So, for instance, running a bike rodeo program, auxiliaries will come on and volunteer. And we need quite a few auxiliaries because we're a very large organization and we have a lot of events to attend. So you'll see auxiliaries typically at like the Santa Claus parade assisting and stuff like that. So no, they are not uniformed officers. They don't have the same authority as we do, but they're a very valuable resource. And currently, I'm trying to revive our auxiliary program here at Traffic Services, just because it's been down for a little bit because of many other things going on. But yeah, I think auxiliaries are a great opportunity. I think it's a great opportunity if you're looking to become a police officer, because we're always looking for volunteering, obviously beyond just volunteering for the point of, there's the resume fluffers who put things onto the resume. Auxiliary is a great opportunity to come into this organization and show what you're made of. You can make a lot of impressions. It's great to network and see what other folks are about. And I will tell you, though, it's also a great opportunity to fail, and so be careful of it. If you're not going to be committed to it, I would tell you don't be an auxiliary because it could be problematic later on if you did want to apply. Is my mic quality still off? I apologize. I don't know what's going on with the mic. It could just be my voice. Maybe I did switch things over. I came to realize yesterday that Sean was left-handed, so I appreciated why he had certain things on the left-hand side. I am right-handed, so I kind of move things around. Next time Sean's in the office, I'm sure he's going to be a little bit shocked about what I've done. But it's just because I find it a little bit more feasible. So, and for a special constable applying for PC, does one require a certain amount of time to do so? I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure. I've known special constables who've been a special constable for 6 months and then transition over. I think our staff sergeant, I'm not sure if he did it for a couple of months, to be honest. So he gets hired on as a special constable, and then if you're in at the right time and the transition is happening, you can apply. No one's going to hold you back. So yeah, I don't know if there's a minimum time, but I've seen it done as fast as 6 months, if that matters. So yeah. Good morning, Tracy. I appreciate you coming in. I apologize if you've missed the show. I'm trying my best to make it happen. It will happen again next week. I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure just yet what my schedule will allow for. It will not happen tomorrow. I'm out donating blood with fellow members, but it will happen next week. I will post it again on Traffic Services, Twitter, and Instagram that the show is occurring. Eventually, I will get access to the Facebook page. Sean, I still need access to the Facebook page. But yeah. You can apply through the TPS website to be an auxiliary. So if you go into there, you can search it out there and it'll be there. Well, that Sean is having a whole conversation on the side with folks. Sean, I'm just going to sit back and just watch your conversations going back and forth. I love it. That's awesome. So yeah, the goal is I'm going to try to start doing the show weekly. It'll probably pick up in the winter, I'll be honest with you, because I'll have the ability to do things. Right now, my greater focus is on getting things, programs up and running. So I run a bike rodeo program. My goal is to do a whole bunch of them this fall. Since yesterday to today, I've already booked 5 of them. If your kids are in school and you have small children in elementary school and you'd like the bike rodeo program to visit them and you're in the city of Toronto, have your principal reach out to me. It has to come from the school. So if they can welcome us in, I'm more than happy to. If you're not quite sure how that works, you can also call your local division, speak to your NCO officers about running a bike rodeo program, and they can reach out to me. I'm more than happy to facilitate it. Pretty proficient at it, and what it is a whole bunch of stages, and the kids will have a great time. We're there for a couple hours. They end up getting bells and lights free of charge, and so yeah. That's what my focus is. If you saw, Elmer came out to the back to school campaign launch. I want to bring Elmer back. I'd like to see Elmer come out and provide safety messaging. For those of you who don't know who Elmer is that large elephant on the flag behind me. Elmer was 1950 something. Elmer has a long history. He was created by a police officer within the Toronto Police Service. He eventually became the property of a newspaper called the Telegram, which eventually went under and became the rights went on to what is called the Canadian Safety Council. They're outside of Ottawa. So currently we have Elmer. Elmer used to talk a lot of safety. Every year, schools get issued a certificate if none of their students are involved in a collision that is near the school, like so they're not traveling to and from school. And Elmer comes with a ton of safety things. And so the goal is to get Elmer back out in the public, get the flags waving back at schools. For those of you who are older, there's the nostalgic connection for newcomers to Canada. It's a great opportunity to create conversation around safety, everything from cycling safety to how to cross the road, looking left and right, all those kind of things, not coming up in between parked cars. Many of which I've talked about in the past. If you don't know, I was on TVO Kids for 6 years. I would do back to school safety and cycling safety and all these things on TVO Kids. They're still on YouTube. It's amazing. I still get calls from random people. Their kids see me. So folks who know me, I know my videos get shown in York Region and in Peel and in Toronto. I don't know where else because most of my friends are kind of in the GTA. But it's amazing. I was just at an event 2 weeks ago, and someone at a Peel was saying, "Yeah, my kids see you on a video." I was like, hold on, I recognize that voice because they're watching it at school because they had seen it. So there's like I think a dozen TVO Kids, everything from like what happens when you call 911, what happens to when you get lost, and I think policing and stuff. There's different videos. Originally, many of them were around cycling safety because that's how originally I got connected with the TVO Kids. So yeah, D here is asking, can a civilian pull over a cop while using a mobile phone while driving? I'm going to tell you, don't. What you do is you report it. So you yourself can call police and have them pull. You have no authority to pull someone over while using a mobile phone as a civilian. So it's going to answer your question there, D. But yeah, so back to what I was trying to say with the programs. There's just a lot I'm trying to accomplish. And right now, I'm just trying to figure everything out, make sure I have the supports in place. I went to the York Region Safety Village. It's something we've been talking about. If you don't know what a safety village is, it's essentially like a miniature world. It's pretty awesome. They do a ton of safety things. York Regions happens to be one of the better ones, if not the best in Canada, is what they'll tell you. I can't verify that. I've never seen any other ones. But it was really cool. They had a fire room. The door heats up. They can put some kind of smoke that's non-toxic. It's like a soapy film kind of smoke to simulate an apartment fire. There's a whole bunch of safety things to that. So they learn fire, they learn CPR there, they learn traffic safety. There's a whole roadway out there. There's some with like psychopaths and stuff, and it's a really great project. It's they've had it for 20 plus years, and it's something I would love to see one day Toronto take on. That with Safety Village to really get into youth and stuff about safety, especially when we're out traveling around and ensuring our kids are as safe as they can be. So yeah, I went to that a couple of days ago, which I've been leading to another conversation internally about how we can bring this and support that. So yeah, these are all things I'm trying to accomplish. So that's why I'm not as focused on the show because the show is one of many things I'm trying to get done. But during the winter, when things kind of calm down, I'm hoping to become more focused on it and really develop my skills on potentially editing things because Sean was an incredible editor and brought a skill set that I do not have. I've been on social media for a long time, but I post pictures and I kind of like put it out there. My social media is in general not a ton about policing at times. Much of it is around like mental health to doing the right thing and stuff like that. It's something I advocate for. I do a ton of volunteering outside of this place, and I'm trying to limit the amount of volunteering because I also my my mental health because I find a lot of places are at times challenging to volunteer in. Used to have some sort of safety village in Ottawa. I know, so both Peel, Durham, and York Region all have safety villages. I'm just seeing what Simple Tulip has brought up. Yeah, and so we don't, and we never have, and so I think it's to our disadvantage personally. And so I want to see what other services have. York Regions was very impressive. They said this is the best. It was very impressed. I was very impressed. It was kind of a closed down day. They had the public order unit using it, and so it was just very cool. Me and my partner John Calder went around, took a tour of the place, got a whole history on it. They have a human rights room and stuff, and I think there's a lot of potential in it. And so something to visit. It's just obviously there's a lot of planning into that and stuff, and they spent quite a bit of money up there to get it done. So Bubs Mama Bear, did I miss something? Every cop, doctor, nurse, and any authority figure where we put our trust in to keep us and our. I'm assuming this was part of a longer conversation, and the rest is coming, but I can't see it. I'm gonna go to one of Akila's quotes here because I appreciate that. Consider how hard it is to change yourself, and you understand what little chance you have in trying to change others. Um, yeah, I think changing yourself takes a lot. This is actually a great quote. I appreciate that, Akila. I think a lot of it comes down to discipline and perseverance. Changing yourself. I think we can all change. We can all evolve. I just think it's a discipline. We too often get complacent and fall back to where we were. So, yeah. Sean, do you have anything else? Are you still there, Sean? Do you have anything else you want to add to the show? I'm going to try to put it, I don't know. People change some with their morals and values and their mental health. I believe reassessment. Yeah. I would tell you this job is really challenging on the things you see and this and that. Coming onto this job, I was probably naive. I came from the idea of the white knight, trying in shiny armor and trying to do the right thing. And you realize, unfortunately, we deal with at times a very small percentage of the public who are just not great people, who are just terrible human beings, and what they can do to each other, to their children, and stuff. And it's a lot. It's a lot to see. You can tell me this is what I signed up for. I can tell you, you have no idea what I signed up for. Unless you've been in this position and in this role, you have no idea. And so it's difficult. More when I say, like telling a doctor, like, oh, well, that's just a cough or whatever. I wouldn't tell you that because I wouldn't know what role you've played and where it's been. And so, yeah. I appreciate that, Kyle. I'm not going to put that up because Sean might take that personally, and Sean's still watching. So, yeah. I fixed the whole Facebook thing. You have access. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sean. You're the man. I appreciate that. So, yeah. I appreciate everyone coming on today. I appreciate Sean showing up, especially considering he's in Florida. This is my first opportunity trying to run a whole show, and obviously I came in late because couldn't figure out the camera, which was on me. And then I had issues with TikTok and streaming. And I ensure that I go onto TikTok because most of our questions come from TikTok, and I want you guys to be aware that we're out there. And then, yeah, if you guys still have questions and you want them answered beyond me, you can always still go to Sean. Sean is happy to take on your questions at VoiceOverCop or what is it, trafficcop.ca. It's what it is. Sean is still more than happy to take those things on. And he's still obviously a resource, a great resource. He may not be wearing uniform, but he's still a fountain of information. Dad jokes, the killer. If you can put your dad jokes, I'll be honest with you. I don't have a moderator, so if they came in, the chat's moving kind of fast, and I just saw that. And so, yeah. Do I need a bike license or just a regular any retail? If you're riding an e-bike, you don't. You don't need an actual license. I don't think unless it goes beyond a certain speed, you don't need a license. So if you're just riding an e-bike, it's fine as long as it has pedals and meets certain conditions, which you can Google up. There it is. Sean says it's trafficcop.ca. You can go to trafficcop.ca and you can still reach out to Sean. Richard, thank you for it. I appreciate that, Richard. I appreciate the comment. It's very nice of you to say. Oh, do you think I should be reassessed every 6 months? Can you? I think that's an individual thing. I don't know how you'd process everyone through and every 6 months. I know certainly. I'll be honest. So I say that a lot. I'll be honest with you. Certain units within the Toronto Police Service, I think either have every 6 months or a year. So if you're in homicide, sex crimes, certain things like I came out of equity, we have access to psychological services on a regular basis. Some units are mandatory to come in, like ETF and this and that, but they have to go. I think it's maybe once a year or whatever, and they are reassessed. I think to do it to everyone or to make it mandatory, I just can't even imagine the system being able to take it on, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I don't know if I would call it a reassessment, but more of a check-in, because I think too often, I know from my own brothers and sisters in our Blue family, many of us go suffering in silence and don't speak about it. Part of the reason I speak about my mental health in general is to encourage others to be able to reach out. Because I can tell you, when I first came onto the service over 18 years ago, no one really spoke about mental health. And now I think we're far more open about talking about things, because I think we see how it's affecting our members and stuff. Gone are the days of, unfortunately, folks who maybe found other ways through drinking or whatnot to help take care of those issues. We realize the problems that come out of that. And so folks are trying to find different ways. And I think we have a pretty decent benefit package in regards to mental health. It's better than getting a massage or physiotherapy. And we really invested into that. And I think, yeah, folks need to reach out. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't know about reassessing every 6 months. I don't like that reassess. I would say check in. And there's nothing wrong with it. To me, it's just like going to do your physical. If you want to do that, like, you're supposed to technically go get a physical every year. Why not go get a check in on your mental health and just check in? I'm gonna put this joke up. Akela, I really appreciate this one. Every morning, I tell my family that I'm jogging, and then don't go. It's a running joke. Hold on, hold on. I need that button. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I definitely do think it's something that's important and valuable. So, and it's definitely, if you see my social media, I pretty much post about one of my, I guess, I don't know, catchphrases. You got this, I got this is something I always post every day when I make a personal approach, because I often go for walks or whatever to clear my mind, kind of follow in the day. I always say, you got this, I got this. And some days I'll say, you got this, I got this, we got this. But we are coming to the end of the show. It's 11 o'clock, and I kind of want to stick to 11 o'clock being the end of the show. So, folks, like I said, it's going to become my Bob Barker line, where I tell you, if you can donate, please donate. If you're eligible to donate blood, folks need you. We all know someone who has suffered through cancer or different other ailments, and blood transfusion is key. Making your blood donation is key to keeping that going. And post pandemic, we don't quite have the numbers we used to on donors and stuff. So if you can donate, that would be great. It'd be much appreciated. If you are eligible, make a difference in somebody's life. It could be everything from a mother giving birth and needing a blood transfusion, then to folks going through cancer and stuff. And you might be giving someone the opportunity of a few more days with their family, to potentially a lifetime. Right? My co-champion will tell you he needed a blood transfusion at the age of 12, and 30 plus years later, and he's still here. And it was because of that blood transfusion he's here. So thank you to everyone for coming out today. I appreciate you. I appreciate you all. Please keep an eye out on social media. I promise I will come back next week at some point and try to make the show once again more regular. To Sean, thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate you, brother, and I hope you are enjoying your time. And M, bye, and take care. Thank you so much, everyone. All the best.